Okay, so let's do the following. Let's start with the updates of the council. Then let's go to the updates of Regenesis. And then whoever wants to say anything, we go to that. Do you think that's fine? Right. So who wants to talk from the council's perspective?
Rock, paper, scissors. Metaruk, since you're going to speak after, I can do this one. And we posted our recent communication thread on the forums on October 7th. And that gives you kind of a more in-depth kind of look at the progress we've made this month. I'll just go over kind of the broader top-down version of it. The DAO committee replacement progress and multi-sig configuration. The proposal for the DAO committee replacement is set to conclude this Friday. And we're looking at the new multi-sig configuration, and there will be 5 seats on that. And looking at like geographic diversity, making sure that we don't have signers in one location or one, geo or geopolitical region is really important. Also looking at like the difference between operational signers versus passive signers as we move forward. We also looked at the snapshot implementation and governance. We're working on setting up the snapshot governance space, doing some tests on that and making sure that all of the snapshot is recorded on the blockchain and transparent. We also are working with our DCL domain name, the DAO Council, so that we can use that to implement these. Let's see, talked about the DAO Council today. Metaruk is reporting. We'll talk about that more in a second. And just working on doing a better job communicating like on a monthly basis instead of a quarterly basis so that we don't have like a backlog of information and the feeling that there's not consistent communication. We listen to the concerns brought up by the community and we're committed to doing a better job just kind of communicating and making sure that, that we're being out there and getting information, questions answered before they arise and before they turn into larger issues. Finally, the Aragon configuration review. Mono has been giving us a lot of information and suggestions about the different kinds of Aragon contracts and how we're going to proceed forward as we look at all the different nuances. Quite a bit of technical experience. So really glad to have Mono on our team. And I believe that is it. Anything like there's more detail that you can look on the forum, and I will post that in just a second. I just have to move the link from my computer. And Metaruk, I know I'm personally really excited that you were at Token 2049. So really glad that you stayed up late enough to share that with us. So I don't know if you want to go next.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesha. So everyone, hello. Just a short update or a brief one. So in case that some of you may have not seen my post in the Decentraland forum, I was invited to speak at 2 panels during the Token 2049 side event a week ago in Singapore. And during the panels, I had the opportunity to share some updates on Decentraland, how it has been evolving since 2020, and how Decentraland could potentially be a platform to be used or leveraged to amplify Web3 communities, whether it's gaming or even memes. So there were 2 interesting topics during the panel. One was talking about ownership for gamers, and another one was talking about internet culture and how to evolve internet culture into digital assets, which was quite interesting topic. I think during that period, during the second one, I was able to share how memes or internet culture that tends to be viral via one-dimensional or two-dimensional on Twitter and social media, but if you had utilized certain platform like like Decentraland, you could further amplify or attract your community via evolving or converting those memes into a digital artifact, like like wearables, emotes, and so on and so forth, right? So this is something that I was able to share. But what is more interesting was the fact that after the speaking engagement, where some people from the audience came up to me and asked me about Decentraland, and interestingly, many have heard about it. Many know what Decentraland is, and those people that I talked to had at least tried once using a browser, and this was mostly during the metaverse hype of 2021, 2022, especially when Facebook rebranded itself to Meta. So that's where people were talking about the metaverse. The hype was so high, and everybody wanted to try out all the latest platforms available out there, right, including Web3. So even some of them shared that they had invested like in land and mana tokens back then, and like from there they haven't looked back ever since. So in other words, some of these people that like invested in Decentraland assets like land tend to just hoard or hold it without building or deploying anything on top of it, right? So this kind of like explains why we have like a lot of empty scenes, because thanks to the hype of 2021, people invest a lot of lands and then they are just waiting for the right time to sell instead of building anything on top of it. But yeah, interestingly, these people that I talked to, they only log in once, invested like during that period of time, and then they haven't logged in to Decentraland ever since. So there were no particularly negative comments that I've received so far regarding Decentraland, but it did got me thinking on how we can get them back to hop back into Decentraland, especially when there's so many updates, right? You've seen Decentraland, how it was in 2020, and now like 5 years later, you've seen how great it is, right, compared to 5 years ago. And evidently they were interested about Decentraland, and some still have their assets, but the gist I got is that they have no compelling reason to hop back in. And I think this is something that worth pondering about. And I think if this wasn't a panel discussion, but rather a one speaker engagement, I think there would be a better opportunity to present or even show them live and discuss the use cases for Decentraland. Perhaps that would be something more engaging, so the audience could see how Decentraland has evolved since 2021, and perhaps that visual thing may attract them into logging back again to experience themselves. So all in all, I think it was good. It was a good event, and I think I just want to thank Kim and Joe from the foundation who gave me this opportunity to represent Decentraland during one of the most important weeks for crypto in Singapore, at least. So yeah, that's all for me.
I want to say, I want to add something to what you were saying, is that in my experience, whenever I talk about Decentraland, it usually happens that a lot of people like recognize the brand and they know what it is, maybe because it's like a super OG project in the Ethereum ecosystem, but they don't usually join. Now, something I will say is that I go here to a place called Crecimiento, which I don't know who of you guys are coming to DevConnect. I don't know if Metaruk are coming to DevConnect to Argentina, but there is a place here called Crecimiento where a lot of people come, and I've been hearing a lot of people that do want to do, for example, like music shows inside Decentraland, or DJs, or like artists that they want to present their NFTs, and they're interested on that, but maybe they think that they have to reach someone to do such thing. Like, it's not usual to see them doing it by their own. Rather, they ask, "Hey, do you know someone of the Central End that can help me get my show here?" And I got a lot of people that ask me that on a daily basis. So, for example, there is one community here called, which I already forwarded to Sino. There is one community here called Neutro. So these guys like have NFTs, musicians, and all that type of stuff. And they do want to do like shows, and they want to present their stuff on the Central End. But maybe we need someone that can, onboard them directly. So that would be cool. But yeah, I agree that people like don't tend to use the Central End, but they still know what it is. And like every time you mention the Central End, they know what it is, but they don't open it. And then what you were mentioning of the web browser thing, I think that was something that really did help a lot to have a lot of users in the Central End, which was the fact that you could access to a platform without having to download anything. And now that's not happening. But I think, from what I've been seeing, Regenesis is working on that. So maybe like that's something they could mention once they come to stage, and that would be cool. And something I wanted to know is, especially a question to the council. One of the discussions was about like replacing Aragon because it was outdated. I want to know like your opinions on that, and what has been your research on that. So if you could comment it a little about it, it would be cool.
Mono, you want to go up and share about that? I can invite you in.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey. So, yeah, I mean, so far, that's only on a research stage. I've been working closely with Nacho, who's like the head of everything blockchain on the foundation side. He's been around since the times Aragon was implemented in the Central End, and so he knows a lot about that. And we've been like doing some assessment of what's the current state of that, like what's the current configuration, the current capabilities, and to see if first to assess what is the current status. Like, is it just a multi-sig with extra steps, or because it has a lot of over 10 contracts, probably a lot of modules and a lot of configurations, permissions, roles. So on this first stage, we were just assessing that, and probably next week we wanted to write a document of that with like this is the current status. But like in a nutshell, there's this there are like two big pieces, two entities that can propose on-chain proposals and have an actual action happen on the Aragon agent, which is the contract that holds all the contracts. It's the owner of the land and estates, contracts and marketplace and everything, and it's the one that holds the treasury. There's actually three entities now that I think. So one is the sub, and the sub, it's 5 people, 3 signers can, basically it's a 3 of 5 signers. So that it's pretty much a multi-sig, and there are better options for that now, like a safe multi-sig, which is the standard that everybody uses, and it's just a single contract. But then there's the community vote module that it's still enabled, but it's very cumbersome to use, and it's pretty much, it hasn't been used in maybe 3-4 years now. And it's pretty much not in use. But that module required a person to create a proposal through Aragon, pass it through 2 stages. There are delays in between, and after all those pass, and like the proposal can be enacted, and it can execute a transaction basically on chain that commands the Aragon agent to like make a withdrawal of funds or upgrade a contract or stuff like that. So that's still in place, but it's very like you have to wrap mana to use it. Pretty much nobody uses it. So, but it's still there. And then there's the committee, which is not the DAO committee, which is a set of 3 operators that have access only to the finance stuff. That's very outdated, and it's from the times when we changed from Aragon to Snapshot, like from on-chain governance to off-chain governance, and they are there for operational reasons, like to take out money from the treasury for the grants, for instance. But now that the grants program is not anymore, it's kind of outdated, and the signers are kind of outdated. So there's a lot of things that can be updated there. Permissions that are very legacy. So that's what we want to write down, like, hey, this is the current status, and make a proposal of maybe things that can be improved, permissions that can be removed, stuff that it's not necessary anymore, like we keeping Aragon without moving to something else, and also probably make some alternatives, more 2025 like approaches to have a like same setup, not changing the power structure, like keeping the sub, keeping if there's a community module that we want to keep because it's still working, to have it, but it can be done with more up-to-date stuff, like up-to-date contracts, like, I don't know, Zeppelin Governor, it's an example that it's just a one contract that can be configured. It can be attached to multi-sig for a security council to have like veto powers and stuff like that, which is similar to what we have. So probably we will make some or write some alternatives to use maybe more updated infrastructure, because the thing is, Aragon is I think now it's on the V2 Aragon. It's very powerful, and it allows you to configure a lot of stuff. But now it's on version 2, and we are using version 0, so it's not even it's still a beta, the one we are using, which is fine. It works fine, but it's not maintained anymore. The UI up to a couple of weeks ago wasn't hosted or wasn't pinned because it's on IPFS, so you need to pin it in order to be accessible. So there were parts that were broken. So it's like a liability to have something so legacy, because at some point the UI might not be hosted anymore. And even though it's open source and we can figure it out and host it ourselves, it's like a ticking bomb. So yeah, we just want to update that to have a more modern infrastructure. But again, that will take proposals and first evaluate alternatives, then bring it in the shape of a proposal, share it with the community, see what everybody thinks, and have that discussion. But we're on that stage now, just making some archaeology on the blockchain and assessing the current status of the Aragon DAO configuration.
All right.
And that's it.
That's it. Well, that was amazing. Looking forward to see the new updates regarding Aragon. What are the things? That's cool that the council is actually taking research on that. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if the council wants to add something else. Do you guys want to mention something else? A new update? Something that you've been thinking of? Feel free.
Nothing else on my end. I don't know about the others.
All right. So with that being said, we can now move to Regenesis. I don't know, Shino, if you want to come to stage. Let's invite him.
Hey there. How's it going?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
How's it going? We can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for inviting me to the stage. Well, I guess last town hall was too much for a lot of people, but here we are. I think that it might be nice to be.
It's a friendly town hall today.
We can have conversations or questions and answers. So that's okay. I'll do like a quick update. I posted, so I will share the link. I posted the monthly update on the forums. Hey, Sinful. That's it. So basically, things are going according to the plan. I'm happy to announce that. So last month we opened 3 positions for the team, for the clients team. We opened a position for senior Godot developer. Godot is the engine that we are using to build the MOI clients in iOS and in Android. And it's also the engine that powers the experimental version of the MetaQuest VR client. There are a lot of Godot developers out there, but there are not a lot of developers out there that knows about, of course, Decentraland and the SDK. You probably remember Leanne. Leanne was one of the first engineers working on the protocol squad when that was a grant. Leanne left Decentraland and left the project a few months ago to work in another company. And when we opened this position, we were like, he's the one, like, we need him. We need to bring him back. So, of course, he always had like a heart in Decentraland, and he's been consulting the team during this first months of Regenesis Labs. So we made him an offer, and he's going to be back with the team mid-October. So I'm happy because it's one of the persons who built the SDK 7. He's a super talented engineer. He has experience working on the foundation, working as a grantee, participating in Regenesis Labs as a consultant. So I'm happy that he decided to come back, and he will add a lot of work capacity to the team and knowledge to the team. So that's the first thing that I would like to announce. The second thing is that we have 2 positions open now because we filled the senior full-time Godot position. We have an opening for a product designer for the team, and we have an opening for a Bevy engineer. So you might ask, what is Bevy? Well, Bevy is Rust-based game engine that it's pretty lightweight, and it's the client that the protocol squad started to experiment back in 2023 as a potential replacement or as a potential open source version of the Decentraland reference desktop client. When we started Regenesis Labs and I started to draft the strategy, for me, it didn't really make sense to have like 2 desktop clients, like 2 clients that you had to download. It was weird. The foundation is doing a great job on the Unity client. We all know that downloading a client, especially in the crypto space, like downloading a file in the crypto space, creates a lot of friction. So when we started Regenesis Labs and we started drafting another engineer for the team, and we'll see how it goes. If the results are promising, which for now they are, we will make the strategic decision to expand that team with a designer, or to wherever, to split the team, split the time of the product manager and the product designer between the mobile clients and the web client. We'll see how we go over it. But the idea is to potentially expand that team so we have a first-class citizen web browser client of Decentraland. So I think that's pretty cool. What else? Well, regarding the boring stuff, after having conversations with some community members, which we hired for things for the hackathon, that we're going to talk a little bit about that later, we realized that having like contracts and service agreements where people had to dox themselves was a little bit weird for some people. So we crafted like a purchase orders that don't require people to dox themselves to work or to provide services to Regenesis Labs. We think it's important because we are providing like a service to the DAO, and the reality is that the DAO as an entity does not require people to dox themselves. So as long as it is as it is like sensible from a cost perspective, we're gonna do that if we get into an agreement for a sum of money that it's bigger than usual. Of course, we will require people to dox themselves and to sign an agreement. This only applies to external contractors, all the people working in Regenesis Labs. By the way, now we are 8 core contributors and 3 external contributors. All of us are doxed to the organization, and we have a master agreement signed. So that's something to mention. Then regarding money, regarding financial transparency, basically we haven't moved money from the Regenesis Labs treasury to the operational wallet during the last month. We swapped mana for stable-coins. We swapped 2.5 million mana for 850K at an average price of 0.34. So that's pretty good because our break-even price for mana in our operational budget is 0.26. The good thing about swapping mana at a higher price than the break-even price that we had at the operational budget is that Regenesis Labs, since its inception, has been cost neutral. That means that we self-funded ourselves just by the profits of mana selling over 0.26 and by the yields we generated from the stablecoin deposits. So that's pretty cool. I think it's good because it's the thesis that proves that doing a sensible treasury management strategy, we're not doing anything weird, anything risky. We're just like swapping mana and depositing stablecoins into low risk yield generating protocols. Could make the runway of the DAO grow a lot. So I think that's cool. What else? Well, regarding to projects, a couple of announcements. First, we've been talking and we've been showing like the Team Hub application that we've been building. The idea for this is to make it the engagement layer, like a Slido replacement for in-world events. We released this as a scene in the Decentraland scenes repository, and also as a library, like an NPM package that anyone can just plug into their experiences. Hopefully next month we will have this added to the Creator Hub as a template, and we would love to see it also on the scenes and the worlds where Foundation and the DAO does community gatherings like the office hours, the all hands, the town halls, to basically replace Slido for this interaction. I think it's a nice way to use, first of all, to use a scene that it's open source, and second, to have the whole engagement layer in world. I think that's pretty cool. Then, well, as some of you have noticed, the governance platform has been pretty laggy or pretty buggy in the last couple of months. That's basically because there was no team maintaining it. The governance squad until April this year has been working on critical bugs or things that were completely broken. But well, after some time, because let's remind that our grant ended in September last year. So the team basically worked for 6 more months, just by fixing critical things. But well, in April, the engineers left for other project. And there are a lot of things that were unmaintained. So we started, we did a technical handover between the former governance squad team and an external team that will maintain it in the short term. We created like a list of items to prioritize and to address the breaking issues. And we have 2 engineers working on it right now. Again, I think this is maybe not critical for the long-term success of Decentraland as a project, but it's a service that we committed to provide to the DAO. So we need to do it. And I think it's important for the governance platform to be there and to be functioning and to represent the latest states of the DAO accounts and the transactions and everything. yeah, I think that's important as well. And then about the cool things, the clients have been working pretty, like the team working on the clients has been moving forward with a couple of strategic issues. The most important thing is that we're going to change the way the MOI clients works in terms of the navigation of Genesis City, because the reality is that trying to render the entire Genesis City on a mid-level Android device or on an iPhone 13 or 14 is virtually impossible. So we're gonna move to a concept of, let's say, islands or worlds where you can navigate the map and choose where you want to go and load that scene in an isolated way to be at an event or to be at a festival or wherever you want, but just loading the scene and then loading the scenes that are on the side just if you want on request. That's made the performance of the client, the MOI client, work way better. So that's pretty cool. They also been working on the chat feature. So as you know, the team working on the MOI clients were basically migrating the features from the desktop client to the MOI client. There was no product manager. There is still no product designer. So they're just basically translating the features as is from a big screen to a small screen. Of course, that's not ideal from a user experience perspective. So now what the team is doing is to go over each one of the features, make sure it works as intended, but most importantly, make sure that it feels good on mobile devices. So that's something, all the things that I'm mentioning are going to be released in the next week version. So if you haven't downloaded the Android version of the client, like it's out there, you can search for Decentraland on the Play Store and you will find it. And if you are using iPhone, you need to sign up for the test flight program on iOS. It's not published publicly on iOS. We are going through that process right now. There are a lot of things that Apple asks developers to address before making it public. So we're also working on that. Well, the team is working on that. Then what else? Well, regarding the Berry client, the web browser client, hopefully by the end of this month, we will release the first public alpha, and you will see some pretty cool stuff. I won't talk about the updates because you cannot see them, but they are on my forum topic. So make sure you read them if you want to create some hype. But hopefully by the end of October, we're going to be sharing like the first alpha version for the community. Again, it's just one developer working on one client. So there are a lot of work to do. And hopefully we'll be able to expand the team. But for now, I think that the results are being pretty awesome. And then what else? Yeah.
One thing I want to mention here, BTA is saying that the Android version is amazing, but he cannot see the people in the client too because it's a separate server on mobile. And maybe if I'm not mistaken.
No, you should be able to see people using all clients now. Like at least on the Go client, on the MOI client, I can see everyone like from all clients, and in Very I think as well. But make sure you have the latest version because that was released like 2 versions ago. But yeah, I mean, it was one of the design principles. Like when we started thinking of releasing this publicly and in a production readiness state, my request for the team was, hey, everyone must see everyone in the world. So yeah,
I want to ask you 2 questions. The first one is about clients. Is when you guys are like going to start having similar UIs on both clients? Because right now, the Godot version has like a more similar Decentraland Unity client UI, but then the Vevy one, it's like, of course, it's like work in progress. So, but when they're going to have similar UIs, and then the second thing would be, one feature that the Baby client has that I think it's really cool, and it does add a lot, is the permissions thing, where basically, to the people who don't know, you can choose if you want to connect to a certain server when you're staying on a LAN. So let's suppose you're on a LAN that has to connect to another server to be accessible. So the client actually allows you to prevent connecting to certain servers. So if you don't want to ping your connection to there, you can actually block that request. So those are the two questions I have for you.
But I didn't understand the second question. Like, you talked about the feature, but what is the question?
So if that's going to be integrated to Godot, the permissions thing that you guys added on Baby.
To be honest, I don't have that answer. I can ask the team and get back to you. Regarding my perspective on that is it's a pretty cool feature for a power user. For someone who's casually joining Decentraland, it might be like weird because you need to understand a lot of concepts to understand what you're doing. It would be amazing to have some kind of like Android type of permissions like pop up when you enter to a scene. But I think it's something that from a user perspective, you need to be super careful about. So I don't have the answer, but my perspective on this is if we're going to do that, we should have some smart defaults. And for people who want to be extra cautious on when using Decentraland, that could be an option. But yeah, I don't know if it's possible. I think it is, but I don't know if it's possible. And if it's possible, I'm not sure that feature is on the roadmap for the short to mid term for the mobile clients. Regarding the question about the UIs, okay, the engineer working on the Vevi client, it's a rendering engineer. So basically, it's a game developer that it's super well knowledge on rendering 3D assets in a performant way in a browser, in a client, in an application. It's not like a UX engineer, a front-end engineer. So that's why what you see is definitely like not polished. If we decide to move forward and if we decide that Baby is the way to go, and we're confident that the engine is going to be able to provide all that we need from a feature perspective to make sure that we have a good experience in a browser-based version of Decentraland, we will definitely hire a product designer or allocate time from the product designer from the mobile clients to this project. And we will hire a front-end engineer, like a more game developer, but focused on front-end experience to make sure that the UIs looks similar. There are also things that are different. Like if you see the Baby client, like the style of the avatars, the style of the 3D models are a little bit different, are more like, I don't know how to call it, like anime-ish type of thing. And the foundation client and the mobile clients are more like cartoonish type of thing, like more on the toon shader style. That's been a decision that was made when they started the project, but it's completely modified. I mean, it can be modified pretty easy. Right now, it's a decision that the style of the 3D assets are different. It's not the same with the UIs. With the UIs, it's just because Rob has been implementing the features like from the SDK and from the backends of Decentraland, like the profile, the backpack, the map, and everything, in the easiest way possible because he's not thinking on the end user experience yet. But if we decide to move forward, for sure, that's going to be addressed.
Very cool. And
another thing that, I wanted to say one more thing that I believe is pretty cool. The cool thing about Baby is that supports WebGPU, which is basically a different way of doing WebGL, like a different way of using the graphics card from your computer to render 3D assets. So it's super performant, and if you have a good computer, you will see big improvements there. But I think that's pretty cool that for the browsers that support the web GPU standard, Baby can consume that and can take advantage of the GPU directly.
I want to ask you something more. Well, I guess there is someone asking on the chat about the hackathon. I don't know if you want to comment on that a little bit. I mean, you mentioned it, but maybe more in depth.
The question is about the clients. Let's finish this and then we'll move forward.
No, about the hackathon. They're moving to the other topic.
Okay, cool. So for the hackathon, I will invite. Well, Toxic is here, but I will just say one thing before the hackathon. As you might have seen on the Decentraland Discord server and on socials, and Tovik was mentioning it, next month, like in November, it's going to be DevConnect in Buenos Aires. DevConnect is the I would say the biggest or the second biggest Ethereum community conference in the world. So you have DevCon and DevConnect. DevConnect is more social, more projects focused, and DevCon is more engineering/protocol focused conference. And it's going to be held in Buenos Aires, which is the hometown of Decentraland, as some of you might know. So we are planning to bring the Metaverse Music Festival experience like into the real world, like from in-world, from Genesis City to Buenos Aires City. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. If you are in doubt if you should come to Buenos Aires or not for DevConnect, you should definitely come. We're going to have like a nice party. We're going to have some DJs that are either part of the community or that have been part of the community. It's going to be pretty cool. So if you're in doubt, don't doubt it. Come to Buenos Aires in November.
I want to mention something on that.
Yeah.
I can assure DevConnect is like one of the craziest experiences. I've been working for DevConnect, like doing marketing, some of the videos, and I actually was able to see a lot of the renders of the event, and it's just insane. It's like a whole city built in La Rural, which is like I don't know how would be the best way to describe it in English, but it's basically like where a lot of gauchos do their activities. So gauchos would be people who work on the farm and with cows and stuff.
I would say landowners.
Landowners, yeah, like they're like DCL landowners, but in real life, right? And with more users. But not just kidding. But the event is going to be really cool. And you know, again, if you check DevConnect Twitter account, there is a video I did where you can check some of the renders of the event, and it's just impressive. And those are not even all. Like there are like multiple stages. The scene, like the amount of time being put into building like scene, and I don't know what would be the English word, like scenography, or I don't know how to say it in English. Maybe Shino, you have a better.
Yeah, scenery, scenes. Yeah.
Scenery, yeah, it's just impressive. It's like a whole new thing. So I don't think there is like even a similar remote event. And to be honest, it's really cool if you come, and also you can again. With the same trip, you can join and assist the DCL party, which I'm down even to stream it. I was talking with Sino, so maybe we could stream it to Decentraland so people can take a look on that. And yeah, that would be all. And now if you want to talk about the hackathon, it would be cool.
Yeah. Toxic, do you want to unmute and talk? If not, I can go over the...
I'm totally ready to join in.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So thank you very much for bringing me up. As maybe you don't know this, friends, I'm organizing the hackathon for DCL Genesis Labs, and I'm super hyped about this. We have a very nice forum thread where you can read all about the latest updates. I'm going to post it quick here. And also in World, I have a few nice announcements. The hackathon will start next Monday with an ARMA session. And we have very nice workshops coming along our way. Community lead workshops by Lars From and Canessa. We will have a very nice hackathon hub that is built by Monster Hall 3D Studio, led by Lost Cats. And we also will have a very nice emote that is made by Hayabusa. If you are in World, you can already see it. Beside that, today are opening the pre-registration phase on DAO. I'm going to post the link here. If you have any questions regarding DAO, please feel free to reach out to me. But at the ARMA on Monday, we will guide your way and show you how you can register for the hackathon. The building fast is officially starting next Wednesday, and I think these were the biggest updates regarding the hackathon. Please keep an eye out on the forums thread, because there will everything be posted, from announcements to events that are happening. And also, these event pages will go online today. And if you go inward, please take a look at Genesis Plaza, because the banner is now online. And I really love how it looks. So get ready for nearly 3 weeks of vibe coding action in the Central Land. Bring your vibe, make it a little bit spooky, and I can't wait to learn with everyone how to vibe code, because I'm a noob myself, and the hackathon is going to be for very, very early beginners. So if you have never built before in the Central Land worlds, this hackathon is made for you. And I think this was from my side. I would like to share one more event, because this is happening already tomorrow. I'm gonna post the link in Discord and also inward. And this is the Regenesis Labs official launch event in the Central Land. Please come by. It's gonna be awesome. Gina's gonna talk about Regenesis Labs and also about Gina's gonna talk about Regenesis Labs, and we'll have some of the team leads that's gonna be also there with us in world, and we will give out the official Regenesis Labs community t-shirt. And if you are in world, you can already see it. It's super nice, and it's made by Dr. Drip. So many, many, many nice things are coming from Regenesis Labs in the next, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. Sheesh. So get ready, and thanks. This was everything from my side.
Well, I don't know if anyone has anything to mention. That was pretty cool. Happy to see the hackathon. Hope you all guys participate. I don't know if any one of you guys want to say something more.
There are prizes. They're pretty juicy. And so Toxic was talking about door hacks. So for those of you who don't know, it's like a cool platform that we are using to organize a hackathon. It's the first time we're using it. So if you have any feedback, comments, doubts, let us know. We thought it would be a good way of reaching out to people outside of our community, because there are a lot of hackers out there, or people building for professional hackathoners, let's say. And we thought it could be a nice way to raise the exposure of the hackathon. So basically, all the submission flow is going to happen on Dora Hacks. So make sure you're registered as a hacker to get the notifications. Of course, Toxic is going to be posting here and on the forum, but make sure to register there as a hacker and submit your build from via Dora Hack. That's it.
Right?
Yeah, question, comment, hate, price, wherever you want.
No hate. Only good vibe. Not enough from the reviews. This one is fine. I wanna give some updates from my side. Well, at least from me, and I want to believe that the rest of my team also. I'm down to step down as DAO committee. So just if anyone is asking, I will be following the community decision, and I hope everything goes well. So that's one thing. Then the second thing is I'm preparing a video, which I actually already recorded with the updates of the Central and Regenesis team. Then I will do some community things, and I think I was actually thinking on publishing that on the Central and DAO YouTube channel. So the idea was to start this type of content where we show what the community and what Regenesis is doing. So this is going to happen. I mean, my team is already editing this, so this will be released hopefully this week. And again, it features things like the Teams Hub, how the new structure is, and hope that, with this new operational company and with the things that are happening, we can see a new life for the Central Land, because I know that many people, even including me, were like kind of like depressed and what was the status of the Decentraland, but hope that now it shines like a beautiful animal. I don't know which animal, but maybe it's some sort of animal. So that would be from the DAO committee side and from me. And again, if anyone wants anything else, open microphone. But I think that would be all. If Toxic, you can later send me the recording, I would appreciate, so I can post it on the YouTube channel of the Decentraland DAO.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks for the good vibes. If anyone has like any questions or comments, just jump in on stage or post in the chat. And if not, we can wrap it up.
All right. Thanks, Toxic. Actually, I have one question. Wait.
Yeah.
I have one question. Because on the Team Sub, there is like a screen sharing feature. When is that coming? When we will have that available?
So right now that it's using the admin tools, we had some conversations with Foundation, and they are working to improve the screen sharing of the admin tools. So I think I don't have the exact date, but I think it's going to be released in the next month. So we're going to have an easy way to screen share in Decentraland that it's not with the OBS server and all the complex stuff.
All right. And one thing to add what Toxic's saying here, she's mentioning the judges. So Agus, Lastri, Kenshi, Master Waynes, Kuruk, and Dr. Krilo. Hope I pronounced them right. If not, well, it is what it is. They are going to be judging, so that's cool. And if you want to invite your friends for the hackathon, that would be cool. So they can earn prizes, and maybe they can become rich. Well, I don't think they will become rich, but they can still earn good prizes by doing cool stuff. So yeah, I think that's. There's one more comment from BTA. Off topic, that would be cool to see this connect with the Vor Apes and their metaverse. I work close as a licensed Vor Ape MBA made by Apes license. I guess it's something that
amazing.
Yeah, maybe
let's talk BTA. If we could do something, I would love it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
Great.
Well, I think this was the end of our friendly town hall. Hope more friendly and constructive town halls come, and we keep building the Decentraland. And I hope for the next one. I mean, I don't know who will host the next town hall. I thought it was going to be Risk. I guess it will have to be me. So I guess I will host the new town halls, and I will make the proper announcements so more people join. But it was nice to have you all here. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Stoic.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Topic.